honestly, our healthcare system is a little bit broken.
I had to pay over $200 just to get treated.
I think it's overpriced.
They give you the prescription, you leave, and then later it's like outrageously priced for like 2 minutes of your time. It's like $400, $500 for something that didn't take any time at all.
What you see in the U.S. is not a capitalist problem taking place, it is more of a moral and value-based problem taking place.
A few years ago, I went to the hospital or the doctor, what have not, and I had a cold, and I didn't have insurance like that, so I had to pay over $200 just to get treated.
I don't have health insurance, and it's just paying out of pocket, and just the way it is, it's kind of all messed up right now.
I grew up as a military brat, which means that my dad was in the Air Force, and I went all over the world, so healthcare for me was free growing up. Anytime we had a hangnail or anything stupid like that, we would go to the doctors and it would be taken care of. So growing up, I grew up with really great healthcare, and it was free, or basically free, because it was part of my dad's job as a perk. Once I got old enough, I had my own healthcare through various jobs, so I never really had to worry about it, just a copay. There have been a few times in life where I've gone to the doctor when I didn't have health care, especially recently being a college student, and it's really expensive. You know, you go in and the first thing they do is they're going to charge you $300 just to be seen by the intake nurse, and that's to take your blood pressure, temperature, and ask you what's wrong.
When I've been in situations where I'm low income, I have had them ask if I was low income, and as long as I was willing to fill out the necessary forms, they would give me a sliding fee scale and reduce the fees or work with me on payments, usually. Sometimes you get a doctor's bill or something that you don't anticipate because they didn't tell you up front they were going to bill you separately for a doctor, you know, ex-doctor or physician. But overall, I've had pretty good experiences with them.
You don't have people who consume and people who provide coming face to face to resolve problems of cost. What you have is consumers who will either rely on the government or the insurance to pay for their health care. And then you have the providers who rely on the government. So the consumers don't care how much it costs. Either the government's going to pay for it or the insurance is going to pay for it. So you have the consumers not really caring about the hospital bill, or the large majority of the consumers not having to care for it. On the other side, you have providers who see the consumers but don't necessarily know that they are not the ones to pay the bill, it's somebody else. So what do the providers care if I was to charge $900 for an aspirin? And so there's no real balance inside this system, healthcare system that we have here in the United States. You've got two different entities. Both are deeply using the system, and then you have these third-party people who have no understanding of cost and the illnesses that plague society.
I think it's crazy because if I have insurance, I would have to put on like a $20 copay, and then the insurance will take it out of the rest. But $200 compared to $20, that's 10%, you know. So I'm paying 90% while, you know, I would have paid rather than 10%. That's crazy to me.
There are millions of Americans that I know of that are in that group of people who are working but don't have full-time jobs, so they can't get benefits, but make too much money to qualify for the CMSP. So those are the people that we have to figure out a way to get some kind of health care coverage for.